Hi, Spiritual Growth Forum. I am Carla-Jayne. I'm a spiritual coach, intuitive guide, and business witch, or witchpreneur, if you like. I am on a mission to help women trust their inner wisdom and their intuition in their life and in their business, blending practical empowerment with mystical insights and a little dash of humor. Let me take you back a few years ago to when the world was suddenly turned upside down. My partner and I were on the trip of a lifetime across the Americas and beyond. We had planned 2 years of soaking in new experiences, exploring new cultures, and living our dream. But then, as you know all too well, the pandemic hit. Borders closed, flights got cancelled, and just like that, our travels were cut short. There I was back home, faced with a lot more time and a lot fewer distractions. And with that time came these little nudges, these tiny whispers from deep inside, suggesting that it might be time to make some changes. But like most of us, I pushed them aside. I had a plan, I had logic, and I had data to back it up. Who listens to whispers when you've got spreadsheets and to do lists, right? During this time of uncertainty, I found myself increasingly drawn back to the path of witchcraft and being spiritually connected. It wasn't just about seeking comfort, it was about recognizing that with that inner voice that I had ignored for so very long, I began to realize that those nudges, those quiet whispers of intuition weren't random. They were guiding me back to my true self, both personally and in my business. And those whispers didn't stop. They actually grew louder, turning into shoves, practically screaming at me to pivot, to embrace something that I had set aside for over a decade: my spiritual practices and my connection to magic. But still, I tiptoed around it, thinking, is this really the right move? Should I be doing this? It wasn't until almost 2 years ago that I finally gave in. Yeah, a full 2 years after the pandemic of ignoring my intuition, I decided to trust those shoves and go all in, to embrace not just the magical, but the practical side of it too. And let me tell you, that was that decision, it changed everything. My business flourished. My health is better than ever. And my relationships are thriving. And my gut, well, I've learned to trust it like a best friend who always has my back. So, why am I telling you this? Because intuition, those whispers, those shoves, is all something that we have. It's a natural ability that's just as important as logic or data, but often we ignore it. We're taught to prioritize facts, figures, tangible evidence. But don't get me wrong, these are also quite essential. But what if I told you that intuition offers something deeper, a kind of guidance that's more aligned with who we are and what we truly want for ourselves? Today, I'm here to explore that with you. So let's to dive in as well, to trust your gut, to master your intuition, and it can lead you to make more fulfilling, aligned decisions. Ones that not only make sense on paper, but resonate deeply with who you are at your core. We're going to get started on this journey of trusting your gut and seeing just where it can take you. But let's start by unpacking this thing that we call intuition. You know that inner voice. Okay, it's the one that nudges you towards certain decisions or warns you off others without any kind of logical reason. That, my friend, is your intuition. It's like an inner GPS that guides you, but not through maps and data, but through feelings, sudden insights, or an undeniable sense of knowing. Unlike the step by step reasoning that we are very used to rely on, intuition bypasses conscious thought altogether. It's a deep, instinctual understanding that doesn't need to justify itself, it just is. Now, you might be wondering, well, how does this really work? Well, intuition can manifest in different ways for different people, and that's where something called the clairs comes in. The clairs represent different ways of receiving intuitive information. Think of them as different channels your intuition can use to communicate with you. I'll explain a little bit about each clair, then I'm going to go through a quick exercise to connect you with it. And you'll have this on the replay so you can revisit whenever you need. First up, we have clairvoyance or clear seeing. This is the ability to see images, symbols, or even full-on visions in your mind's eye. Imagine getting a sudden flash of an image or a symbol that seems to pop out of nowhere. This might be your intuition giving you some visual guidance. So for your exercise, let's give this a try. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a peaceful place. Maybe it's a beach, a forest, or somewhere that brings you calm. As you visualize this place, pay attention to any images or symbols that arise spontaneously. And then when you're ready, open your eyes and write down what you saw. Take a moment later to reflect on how these images might relate to something that you're currently experiencing in your life or in your business. Next, we have clairaudience or clear hearing. This is where you receive intuitive messages through sound, either audibly or internally. You might hear a voice that isn't your own, offering guidance or wisdom. And it's like having a quiet conversation. For your exercise, you can find a quiet space and sit comfortably. Start focusing on the sounds around you, maybe the hum of a fan, distant traffic, or the rustle of leaves. Then gradually shift your attention inwards. Listen for any words, phrases, or sounds that come to mind. And then jot down anything that you hear and think about how it might apply to a decision that you're currently facing. Then there's clairsentience or clear feeling. This one is probably the most familiar to many of us. It's where you feel an intuitive guidance through your emotions or your physical sensations. You might have had a gut feeling that something wasn't right, or felt a sudden wave of calm when considering a decision. That is clairsentience at work. For your exercise, you can reflect on a recent decision that you've made. Maybe it was something small, like choosing what to eat, or something bigger, like a career move. And as you think about it, pay close attention to your body. Notice any tension, any relaxation, or any emotional responses. This is your body's way of communicating intuitive insights. Practice tuning into these feelings regularly as you consider different choices in your life. And finally, there's claircognizance or clear knowing. This is that instantaneous, unshakable knowing that comes out of nowhere. You can't explain how you know, you just do. It's like that light bulb moment. So to tap into this, you can try automatic writing. Grab a pen and paper or open a blank document on your device. Set a timer for around 5 minutes and write down whatever comes to mind. Don't overthink it, just let the words flow. When the timer goes off, read through what you've written. You might be surprised at the clear insights that have emerged. To share my own experience, when I was reconnecting with my spiritual practices, I started experiencing moments of clairvoyance, clear visual insights that seemed to pop out of nowhere. I had this happen when I was planning a new business offering. I kept seeing an image of a specific tarot card in my mind's eye, the Queen of Wands. Actually, I've got it here. I prepared it earlier. So this is the Queen of Wands here. And it wasn't until I included that energy in my work that everything fell into place for me on a different level. And now I have the energy of the Queen of Wands, shining your light for others to follow, inspired action steps, and helping others rise as I do. And all of that underpins my entire business. Now, if you're curious to dive deeper into these types of intuition and explore more exercises to strengthen them, I've got you covered. You can check out my blog post, which is titled Trust Your Intuition, a Beginner's Guide to Confident Decisions. It is packed with more insights and practical tips to help you develop your intuitive abilities further. Thank you very much. It is ticker taping along the screen. But understanding how your intuition works is only part of the equation. If intuition is such a natural and powerful tool, why do we often struggle to trust it? So let's start with societal conditioning. From a young age, most of us are taught to value logic, reasoning, and evidence above all. We are encouraged to think things through, weigh pros and cons, and to base our decisions on hard facts. While these are very important still, they can come at the expense of our natural intuitive abilities. Think about it. How often are we told to trust our gut versus how often are we told to get the facts straight? Our education systems, cultural norms, and even our families often emphasize the tangible and measurable. Intuitive nudges, however, are often dismissed as irrational, too emotional, or just plain unreliable. This societal bias can suppress our intuition, making us doubt those inner signals even when they're trying to guide us towards the right path. It's as if we've been trained to ignore a crucial part of our decision making toolkit simply because it doesn't fit into a neat, logical box. And then there's overthinking and self doubt, two of the biggest enemies of intuition. How many times have you had a strong gut feeling about something only to second guess yourself into oblivion? We've all been there, analyzing every possible outcome, weighing every possible consequence until we're so tangled up in our own thoughts that we can't even remember what our original intuition was telling us. Overthinking creates a fog around our intuitive senses. It clouds our judgment and makes us more likely to make decisions that don't feel aligned with who we are. We start to rely on logic alone. And in doing so, we often miss out on the deeper, more authentic guidance that our intuition can provide. And let's not forget self doubt. That little voice in your head that says, who are you to trust your gut? What if you're wrong? Self doubt, it can be crippling. It can lead us to disregard our intuition in favor of what seems safer, more conventional, and more acceptable to others. But when we do this, we often end up with decisions that may make sense on paper, but leave us feeling disconnected or unsatisfied. For a long time, I battled with imposter syndrome, questioning whether I was good enough to guide others or if my intuition could really be trusted. This self doubt often led me to rely solely on logic and data, dismissing my gut feelings as irrational. But as I began to explore these fears and work through them, I realized that intuition isn't something to be feared or doubted. It's a powerful tool that, when trusted, can lead to the most aligned and fulfilling decisions. I do often ask the cards when I have a business decision, and I will use my pendulum when I am looking for guidance around what my audience might be feeling. And I absolutely connect with my stream of consciousness writing or automatic writing when I am struggling with my relationship decisions. I trust my intuition implicitly, but I always have my data and analysis to back it up. And finally, let's talk about the role of the ego in this part. The ego is the part of us that craves control, validation, and external approval. It's about survival, and it is driven by fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown, all the bloody fears. When the ego is in the driver's seat, it can be incredibly difficult to hear our intuition, let alone trust it. The ego thrives on external validation, which can drown out the quieter, more subtle voice of intuition. It tells us to make decisions based on what others will think, on what makes us look good, or what will keep us safe from criticism or rejection. But these ego driven decisions often lead to outcomes that might satisfy on the surface level, but it leaves us feeling unfulfilled on a deeper level. To truly trust our intuition, we need to learn to quiet the ego. This means letting go of the need of external validation, embracing the possibility of failure, and being okay with not having all the answers. It's about surrendering control and allowing that deeper, wiser part of ourselves to guide us. So, with all of these obstacles, like societal conditioning, overthinking, self doubt, the ego, it's no wonder we struggle to trust our intuition. But the good news is, just as we've been conditioned to ignore it, we can also condition ourselves to trust it again. In the next part of our journey today, we're going to explore practical steps to strengthen and develop your intuition so you can start making decisions that are not just smart, but also deeply aligned with who you are. We're going to dive in to how you can rebuild that trust and let your intuition lead the way. So let's start with the foundation: mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, and it is crucial for connecting with your intuition. When we're mindful, we quiet the noise of our thoughts and make space for those intuitive insights to come through. I would like to guide you through a short meditation to help you tap into your intuition and open yourself to the clairs. Please close your eyes if it is safe to do so, and take a few deep breaths. Allow your body to relax with each exhale. As you breathe in, imagine drawing in clarity and calm. As you breathe out, release any tension or mental chatter. Let's ground for a moment by imagining roots growing from your feet and anchoring you into the earth. You feel a warmth as the energy of the earth is flowing up through the roots into you. It flows up through your feet, through your legs, and sits at your root chakra where you are seated, and flows upwards still. This warmth flows upwards along your spine, flowing into each part of your body, continuing upwards past your stomach, your heart, your neck, and into your head, and then flowing freely upwards out of your crown. You are connected through earth and universe. I'd like you now to take a moment to focus on your intuitive areas. We will start with your third eye, the space between your eyebrows. Imagine this area gently opening like a flower blossoming, allowing you to see beyond the physical world. This is where clairvoyance begins. Next, bring your attention to your ears. Imagine them tuning into a frequency that allows you to hear beyond ordinary sounds. This is the gateway to clairaudience. Now, shift your focus to your heart and your gut. Feel these areas expanding, becoming more sensitive to the emotions and physical sensations that guide you. This is clairsentience. And finally, open your mind to the possibility of instant knowing, trusting that any insights or ideas that come to you are clear and true. This is claircognizance. Take a moment to sit in this space of openness, allowing any intuitive messages to come through. And when you're ready, gently bring your awareness back to the room and open your eyes. You can stretch if you need to as well. I would love to know how that meditation was for you. And if you're watching live, please comment and I will respond to you afterwards. Or if you're watching the replay, I will respond later too. Okay, let's get next. Let's talk about journaling as a tool to connect with and explore your intuitive insights. Journaling allows you to capture those fleeting thoughts and feelings and giving them a space to be examined and understood. I've got some specific prompts to help you connect with each of the clairs. So, for clairvoyance, what images come to mind when I think of this decision? What scenes or symbols appear when I close my eyes and focus on this situation? For clairaudience, what words or phrases do I hear when I consider this option? Are there any sounds or songs that come to mind? For clairsentience, what do I feel in my body when I think about this choice? Is there any tension, any warmth, lightness that could be guiding me? For claircognizance, what immediate insights or ideas do I have about this situation? What do I just know without needing to explain why? Spend some time journaling on these prompts whenever you're faced with a decision or need clarity. The more you practice, the clearer your intuitive messages will become. Another powerful way to connect with your intuition is through body awareness. Our bodies are incredibly intuitive. They often know what's right for us long before our minds do. Physical sensations like a tight chest, a knot in the stomach, or a sense of calm can all be indicators of what your intuition is trying to tell you. After a moment in Orlando, where I was unceremoniously pulled off a ride for not fitting in the seat, I chose from then on to make my body my compass. I started to pay attention to physical sensations. I would experience a tightness in my chest whenever I was feeling imposter syndrome, but not allowing myself to feel it or work through it. I was also at this time very, very good at ignoring the fullness feeling in my stomach so that I could stop eating before I got too full. I am also still learning to accept when my body needs to move despite feeling crappy. It wasn't overnight, but recognizing these signs, I knew it was my intuition telling me what to do. This awareness has helped me make better decisions, both in personal situations and in guiding my business. And I feel that it is one of the cornerstones of me losing a significant amount of weight. So here's how to practice using body awareness for intuitive decisions. Whenever you're faced with a decision, pause and check in with your body. Close your eyes and bring your awareness to your physical sensations. Do you feel tension or relaxation? Lightness or heaviness? Notice these feelings without judgment. They are your body's way of communicating with you. Take the time to reflect afterwards on what these sensations might mean to you. And make it a habit to tune into your body throughout the day, especially when making decisions. This practice will help you become more attuned to your physical intuition, enhancing your clairsentience. So let's dive into some daily practices to specifically develop each of the clairs. For clairvoyance, engage in creative visualizations. For example, when considering a decision, close your eyes, imagine the outcome. Observe what images, colors, or scenes come to mind. You can also practice by visualizing your day ahead, focusing on the details of each activity. For clairaudience, practice deep listening. Spend a few moments each day focusing on the sounds around you. Then shift your attention inwards and listen for any intuitive messages that come through. Pay attention to any words, phrases, or sounds that seem to arise spontaneously. For clairsentience, regularly check in with your body throughout the day. I've already said that. When making decisions, notice physical sensations. Do you feel a sense of peace or discomfort? Reflect on what these feelings might be telling you about the decision at hand. For claircognizance, make it a habit of trusting your immediate insights. When a thought or idea pops into your mind, resist the urge to overanalyze it. Instead, act on it and see where it leads. The more you trust these moments of clear knowing, the stronger your claircognizance will become. All right, let's talk about using divination tools to help connect with your intuition. One of the most impactful moments for me was when the Four of Cups appeared during a tarot reading for myself. I've got the Four of Cups prepared earlier. Okay, this card called me out on my lack of gratitude. You can see she looks very non-gratitudey. Okay, and it called me out on my tendency to focus on what wasn't working rather than what was. It was a very tough pill to swallow, but it pushed me to shift my mindset, both in my life and in my business. I started to focus on the gifts that I already had, which opened up new opportunities that I hadn't noticed before or simply dismissed. My relationship started to improve with my husband as I wasn't being as emotionally available as I could have been with him. And we needed to share in what was working, not commiserate with what wasn't, in order to call in more of that good stuff to us. Using divination tools like tarot cards are a super effective way to enhance your connection to the clairs. These tools act as a bridge between your conscious mind and your intuition, helping you tap into the clairs in a tangible way. For clairvoyance, focus on the images of the tarot cards. Allow your mind to wander as you observe the symbols and the scenes and see what intuitive visuals or insights arise. For clairaudience, pay attention to any words, phrases, or messages that come to your mind as you draw or interpret the cards. For clairsentience, notice how your body feels as you interact with the cards. Do certain cards evoke physical sensations or emotional responses? And for claircognizance, trust your immediate insights or understandings that come through during your reading, even if they don't seem logical at first. To further explore these practices on how to incorporate them into your daily life, don't forget to check out that blog post that I mentioned earlier. And it offers additional exercises as well and insights to help you strengthen your connection to the clairs and your overall intuition. By integrating these practices into your daily routine, you will start to notice your intuition becoming stronger, clearer, and more reliable. Now that we've explored how to develop these skills, let's move on to how you can apply them in real life situations to make them more aligned, fulfilling decisions in both life and business. So, let's talk about firstly how these practices have played out in my own life. I have learned over time that when I'm facing a business question, my first instinct is to reach for my tarot cards. I have many of them. But I will be honest, there are times when the cards call me out in ways that make me squirm a bit. But it's just part of the process. What is fascinating is how the combination of my own intuition and the archetypes within the cards provides me clarity. It's not just about seeing a specific answer laid out in the cards, but about understanding myself better or gaining deeper insights into my audience. This clarity allows me to make more confident decisions and it aligns with my true self. On the other hand, when I'm grappling with a life question, my approach might shift slightly. First of all, I'm going to check what's going on cosmically, because let's face it, the stars and planets have got a lot to say about the energies at play. And if I'm feeling resistance around the issue, I'm going to dive into shadow work. This involves confronting those parts of myself that I'd rather keep hidden, the fears, the doubts, the insecurities. It's not always comfortable, but it is incredibly freeing. If there's no resistance, or once I've worked through it, which is more likely, I take it to nature. There's something profoundly grounding about walking in nature, letting the earth steady you as you think over your options. For me, both shadow work and grounding in nature are cornerstones of my intuitive practice. They help me to connect to my deeper wisdom and make decisions that are in harmony with my true self. Now, let's shift to some of my clients' experiences. I think these stories will resonate with you, and it shows just how powerful it can be to embrace and develop your clairs. So, my first client, let's call her S, she was a tech maven. She still is a tech maven. She is incredibly talented. She has a sharp, logical mind that serves her very well in her business. But when it came to connecting with her intuition, she struggled. It actually wasn't because that she couldn't connect to it. She had zero problems in receiving intuitive messages. Her challenge was allowing magic to coexist with her logical approach. Her beautiful analytical brain was not letting her blend her tech savvy side with her intuitive gifts. She felt very disconnected from her business, knowing that she wanted to infuse it with more magic, but she was unsure how to do so without leaving logic behind. We worked together to dismantle those BS beliefs that told her that had to choose between being logical and being magical. Once she embraced the idea that she could be both, her business transformed. Now she's running a very successful company that perfectly balances her tech expertise with her intuitive gifts, offering her clients something really unique and very powerful. Another client, let's call her D, was operating in survival mode, constantly on the go, pushing herself to the brink, ignoring her intuition's signals. She was plagued by mum guilt, always putting her own needs last, ignoring her intuitive signals until everything started to crumble around her, including her relationship. She knew something had to change. We focused on getting her to listen to her body and her intuition. She learned to recognize when her boundaries were being pushed and when her gut was screaming for rest. We worked on letting go of guilt, anger, and frustration. And instead, she began tuning into her needs. Now, Dee has a routine that honors her intuition. She listens to her body when it needs rest. She's learned to check in with her energy before reacting to triggers. She's now thriving rather than just surviving and making decisions that are aligned with her true self. When you tap into your intuition, it really does give you the guidance that you're looking for. Okay, I'm going to say something a bit cliche here, but the truth is, you do have all the answers within you. You just need to ask the right questions. And then you need to trust the responses. And here is where it gets tricky, because developing your intuition isn't always a smooth ride. There are common pitfalls that can trip you up along the way. So let's briefly talk about those. One of the biggest mistakes is ignoring your intuitive nudges. You might get a strong feeling about something, but then your logical mind kicks in and convinces you to dismiss it. Maybe you tell yourself it's just a coincidence, I'm being irrational. The problem with ignoring these nudges is that it creates a disconnect. The more that you ignore your intuition, the quieter it can become until eventually it's almost impossible to hear because you're so very good at ignoring it. Another pitfall is confusing other thoughts or emotions with true intuitive insights. Sometimes fear, anxiety, or wishful thinking can masquerade as intuition. You might think you're getting an intuitive hit, but in reality, it's just your fear talking. And you might try to keep, and it's trying to keep you safe in the comfort zone. It's important to distinguish between these and true intention, which often feels calm, clear, and centered, even if it's guiding you towards something that scares the shit out of you. And one last pitfall, you think you're simply making it up. That's a story that you're telling to yourself, and you're being a little bit delusional and feeling like you're a fake. Let's break these down. How do you avoid them? First, make a habit of acknowledging your intuitive nudges, even if you're not ready to act on them yet. Just saying to yourself, I hear you, can start to build that trust. To differentiate true intuition from other thoughts, Pay attention to how the message feels. True intuition comes from a sense of calm certainty. It's not always loud or insistent, it's more like a quiet, confident whisper. If you feel anxious, rushed, or desperate, it's likely that your ego or your fear is talking, not your intuition. And you think you're making it up. Well, there is a very fine line between illusion and reality. The brain actually doesn't know the difference. And if you think you're completely crazy and making it up, you're most likely on the right track. Just accept the nudges without judgment. Write them down, pop them in a voice note, reflect on it all later. You don't need to make a decision right away. Let it percolate. The first connections, however, are usually the right ones. Usually. It's when you allow your brain to engage a bit more and the ego comes creeping in and it gets all up in your face. Remember, developing your intuition is a journey, it's not a destination. Be patient with yourself. Practice regularly, and over time, your intuitive voice will become clearer and more reliable. And when you do listen to it, you'll find that it's leading you exactly where you need to go. As we move towards wrapping up, I want you to take these examples, these stories and lessons with you. The more that you engage with your intuition, the more it will reward you with the guidance that you seek. I'd like to share some closing thoughts on how to keep this intuitive momentum going in your life and in your business. We have delved into the essence of intuition, that inner knowing that guides us beyond logic. We've explored the different clairs: clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and claircognizance. I do know that there's not just those. These are the most common ones. But each of these clairs offers a unique pathway to intuitive insights. We've also discussed why intuition is so important and how to strengthen it through daily practices like mindfulness, journaling, body awareness, and divination tools. As I look back on my journey, from that pivotal moment in Orlando to reconnecting with my spiritual practices and embracing my intuition in both my life and my business, I can see how powerful it is to trust that inner voice. It's not always easy, and yet there are still days where I struggle, but I know that my intuition is my greatest ally, and it can be yours too. Remember, developing your intuition is a journey. It requires patience. I know you don't want to hear that. But it also requires practice and a willingness to listen to that subtle inner voice. As you nurture this connection, your intuition will become a powerful guide in your life. I want to empower you to start experimenting with your intuition in small everyday decisions. Notice how it guides you in choosing what to eat, which path to take on a walk, or how to respond in a conversation. As you build your confidence from those small decisions, you can start applying your intuition to more significant business or life choices. Trust that your intuition is always there, ready to lead you towards your highest good. I want you to remember this. Intuition is your birthright. It's not something you have to earn or work for. It's already inside of you, waiting for you to tap into it. When you trust it, your decisions become more aligned, more meaningful, and your business more magnetic. And speaking of trusting your intuition, I would love to share something with you, if I may, that may help you take everything that we've talked about today to the next level. For those of you who may not know me well yet, I am the creator of the Witchpreneur in Your Pocket program. This program is designed specifically for intuitive entrepreneurs like you, offering direct personal guidance straight to your phone to help you tap into your spiritual wisdom and integrate it into both your personal life and your business, because they're not separate, they're the same. Imagine having support day by day where you can not only deepen your intuition, but also conquer mindset blocks and unleash your full potential. Let me tell you a very quick story about why I created this program. A few years ago, as you may know, I was in a similar place where you might be right now. I was juggling business, life, intuition, not fully trusting my own inner guidance. I had moments of doubt, moments where I felt like I needed constant external validation. Sound familiar? It wasn't until I truly lent into my intuition, giving it that same weight as data, logic, and strategy, that everything shifted. I stopped second guessing myself and started leading from that deep inner knowing. My business took off. My relationships, they grew stronger. And the decisions I made, they didn't just feel good, they were right. I just knew that I had to share this journey and help others to have access to that same magic. And what makes Witchpreneur in Your Pocket so different from other spiritual business programs? Well, it's not a generic set of steps or weekly meetings to attend. I have blended years of experience with entrepreneurship, intuitive practices, and witchcraft into a streamlined, accessible guidance service that's literally in your pocket. No Zoom calls, no rigid schedules, no hours of content to watch, no overwhelming group dynamics. Just you, fully supported and connected, with intuitive voice notes, cosmic insights, and actionable advice sent straight to your phone. It's about integrating intuition into your everyday life and business decisions. Imagine having someone who's been there, guiding you through the fog of self doubt, helping you to interpret those intuitive nudges, and keeping you aligned with your higher self. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, oh, well, will I be able to follow through with this? Let me tell you, this program is designed with you in mind. It's as flexible as you need it to be. Whether you're someone who's a beginner with spirituality or just someone who's looking to deepen their practice, with guidance coming straight into your phone, you will feel supported without the overwhelm of having to fit more into your already busy schedule. And if you're ever unsure about what's next, I'm going to be right there giving you practical steps to take. And no, you won't need to commit to being on any calls at odd times or join any group meetings. I have made it completely independent of the traditional you must be present approach. This is guidance on your time, your terms. You are empowered to engage with it when it works best for you. And the best part, it's tailored towards your personal journey. You get the freedom, the flexibility, and you still get that deep level of connection and guidance. Results? My clients have reported massive shifts, greater clarity in decision making, stronger self confidence in their businesses, and a deeper connection to their intuition. They've gone from feeling lost or unsure to making powerful, aligned decisions for both personal lives and businesses. This isn't just about learning new techniques, it's about transforming the way that you show up in your life and in your business. More authentic, more intuitive, and more aligned. Now, with the level of personalized support that you will receive, this type of guidance would typically be priced at well over $1,000 for 3 months of intuitive guidance. And that is without the addition of personalized inner critic coaching. But because you're here, and because I want to support action takers who are ready to trust their intuition and step fully into their power, I am offering a 50% discount exclusively for the members of the Spiritual Growth Forum. Why the discount? Well, because I believe in making intuitive guidance accessible to those who are ready to grow. It's for those of you who know you're meant to step into something bigger and just need that extra support to get there. But this offer is only available for the first 7 members of each tier. Once the spots are filled and the offer closes, okay? I am but one person and I want to be able to fully connect with each of you who come into my world. This is a limited time offer because I want to work with those who are ready to take action now and not let the self-doubt hold them back. Spots are going fast, and with such a deep discount, they are not going to last long. So here's how you can claim this exclusive offer. Simply use the discount code SGF Queens when you sign up through the link that is ticker taping right now. Okay, that link there automatically connects the coupon. Okay, but if you do go wandering around the site and lose the link, it's fine. Just add the coupon code SGF Queens again. So here's what you can get: a taster day of guidance is normally $47 and it's just $23.50. 1 month of support is $99.50. 3 months of guidance is normally $555. You get it for $277.50. And for those who want the full experience, including the inner critic coaching to silence that inner mean girl, you can get 3 months of full support and coaching for just $499.50, which is normally $999. Remember, there are only 7 spots each. Okay, so if this is calling to you, please do not hesitate. Trust your intuition and take action. Thank you so, so much for joining me today and being open to exploring the power of intuition in your life. I absolutely cannot wait to guide you further on this incredible journey. And I would also love to stay connected. You can find me on social media. Let's continue the conversation there. You can explore more of what I do through my link tree, where you'll find the links to my latest offerings, blog posts, ways to work together. I will share that in the comments with you later. Thank you so much for being here today. Trust your gut, embrace your intuition, and watch how it transforms everything. Thank you.